As we heard earlier in the newscast, the Biden administration's nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief plan is one step closer to reality. Joining us now is Joel Griffith, research fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Joel, welcome back. Always great to see you. I know last week you called this measure a smokescreen that robs future generations. Can you talk more about that? And also, what changes, if any, did the Senate make to this bill before passing it?
Yeah, well, this is definitely indebting our future generations. We are taking on another $2 trillion of debt, and we have politicians in Washington, D.C. that are basically giving away piecemeal checks to the majority of Americans. And I know everyone likes a bit of extra money in their checking account. And what this will do is actually distribute tens of millions of dollars of these checks. But the problem is we're actually borrowing this from our future generations. The same goes with the programs that are going to go ahead and deliver funds to those with children. I understand we want to help parents, we want to help families, but we are borrowing these trillions of dollars, and we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it either eventually through higher taxes on the middle class or higher inflation. And that's something I'm becoming very concerned with all the money that's being printed, is we're already seeing an increase in inflation. And over the longer term, we're likely to see that increase. And that's a hidden tax on all of us.
Yeah, for sure. I want to go back to that. Joel, you mentioned inflation, and we had also mentioned earlier that this is expected to lead to the highest inflation in decades. For those who may not be familiar with how inflation works, can you quickly take us through that process and how this time it may be different?
Yes, sure. Well, inflation is primarily caused when you have more dollars chasing the same amount of goods. And each and every year now, we see our central bank, the Federal Reserve, we see it printing trillions of dollars worth of money. And over the past year, we saw the Fed print money and then purchase treasury bonds, for instance, from investors. Well, those investors now have those funds and they reinvested in the stock market. We've seen the stock market go up. We've seen those prices inflate. And then on top of that, we have seen people receive stimulus checks, which means they want to go out and purchase goods. And that drives up prices as well. And what this really does is it devalues what our dollar is worth. Our dollar has declined in value by more than 10% over the past year. And that means that if you've been saving for retirement, if you've been putting money into your savings account at the bank, well, that means that you're going to, in real terms, see those funds worth less. It's politicians going ahead and buying support by giving away money, but in effect, they're robbing you if you've been responsible and chosen to save.
Joe, I want to get your perspective on this. I mean, what do you think? What are the chances that President Biden will sign this bill in its current form?
Chances appear high. The president seems very supportive of this legislation. We saw the Senate work over the weekend. We ended up seeing this pass pretty much in a party line vote. So this is very likely to become law. We're going to deal with that for generations to come. What's really ironic about this, it was billed as COVID relief, but fewer than $1 in $10 of this package actually goes to actual COVID aid. In fact, a lot of this aid is spread out for many years, benefiting special interests such as public sector education unions. And of course, we know that over the country, many parts of the country, the schools remain closed because the public sector teachers unions refuse to open. And yet what this does is hand these unions tens of billions of dollars over years and years to come, buying off that support. And that's on the backs of all of us. And if you're a parent, chances are you've been suffering from schools that refuse to open. Well, those schools are actually being rewarded for their failures.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much, Joel Griffith, research fellow at the Heritage Foundation.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.